Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. A very happy Monday morning, having won at the weekend. But I'm still really pissed off with some people. So, now apologies from the outset. We're going to do the ratings later on because we won. So we'll be doing the ratings. You know, Matt. You know Ariola's going to get man of the match, and rightly so. He won us the game. But I'm going to have a little bit of a let loose a little bit because like Saturday night, obviously we'd won. We'd beaten a side traditionally that we had never done well against. As I said, in our history, was something like minus 79 goal difference against Everton at Goodison Park. Not at Goodison Park, but in total. We'd beaten them. On Monday, we'd beaten a side which we'd never beaten in the Premier League. And so back-to-back wins. And yet, it seems... I don't know. When did it become a thing that you couldn't celebrate a win without it becoming a political debate? When did it become a thing that anyone who wants to just use social media to say, yes, well done, boys, we won a game, is then ridiculed, is then criticised, then has to almost justify themselves? It's happened all over Twitter, all over YouTube, but it happens all the time. And I just don't know, when did it become a thing? When did it become acceptable for somebody to criticise someone else's enthusiasm? Because that's what's happening. When did it become a point when you beat, as I said, a tough game, a smash and grab? It was a typical Moyes smash and grab on Saturday, and you're not allowed to enjoy it because our goalkeeper had a fantastic game. Because that's what it seemed like to me. As soon as the final whistle happened, people were like, yeah, brilliant, 3 points, 7th. Well done, guys. Back, 2 wins in a week. We haven't won this season, so fair play. We've battled and got good wins there. And then in the same breath, people go, but if it wasn't for Ariola, we'd have won the game. Enjoy. We're West Ham fans. For the last 40 years until last season, we won F all. F all. Yeah, we've had fit starts and maybes, but enjoy it. Why do you have to feel like you have to win points on either side? That's what frustrates me. It seems like it's actually the football, the actual wanting West Ham to win a match. The idea of football is to win a game. But that almost is being clouded by the fact that people are so petty that they want to then start some sort of I don't know, row, beef with people. It's ridiculous. Yes, in the same narrative that, Ariola did win us that game. Definitely won us a game. He was phenomenal. He was fantastic. I think it was Nick said something about who scored. He was like the highest score ever for a goalkeeper in this season or something like that. But in the same set, who's not to say that Jared Bowen not scoring 14 goals this season? If it weren't for him, we'd have lost more game. If it wasn't for Thomas Suchek scoring 9 goals this season, we pay. That's why you pay players big money. You buy in big players to win you the game single-handedly. Payet used to win us the game single-handedly. Paulo Di Canio would win us the game single-handedly. I remember, was it Wolves early this season at London Stadium? Paqueta won that game single-handedly against them. Was it 3 assists he had? He was phenomenal. The fact that we have Ariola meant we did win the game. If we didn't have Ariola, we might not have won the game. In the same way, if we didn't have Paqueta against Wolves, we might not have won the game. It seems that every time we have to find something. I'm not criticising people for having opinions, because football is about opinions. Everyone has them. But what I'm frustrated about is, again, when people get called out, when people call out others for having a differing opinion, or maybe even changing their opinion. You're allowed to change your opinion. I totally agree. Ariola saves on Saturday won us the game. He was brilliant. And it tends to be that individual performances from players do win matches. As I said, we've spoken about that Paqueta game in Wolves, and I see Bowen, was it 14 game, all of his goal contributions added together? If it wasn't for JWP's corners, then, you could keep reading that narrative again and again and again. And I totally understand and I totally get it. But it seems when we win, there's a proportion of the fan base who will take it upon themselves to criticize anyone who is anti-management. If we win, it's almost like the Moyes-inners are, or, I think it's like Brexit. The Moyes-etters will call out the Moyes-etters, anti-Moyes-etters, whatever it is. And the same if we lose, it's the complete opposite. The anti-Moyes, like, told ya, man's only got one plan B. And the same way the Moyes go, see, I told you Moyes knows what he's doing. Yeah, but if he didn't have there's always a debate. Why can't we enjoy winning a game of football? Why can't we? That's what I don't get. It was a proper smash and grab job. There was a huge number of fans went up to Everton. You look at the likes of Dodsey and Jake and people out from the south to the southwest. It was like a winter wonderland driving there. Fair play to them. They enjoyed the win. I don't think they'd be coming away straight away, walking out of Goodison Park, not euphoric and just enjoying the win, to go, oh, well, if we hadn't had Ariola, sir. It really frustrates me. But regardless of who's in the dugout, or your thoughts on who is in the dugout and how long that person is going to be in the dugout and so on and so forth, we are all West Ham fans. You might believe it sometimes, but we all are. It doesn't sound like it for some people, but we all are. We want to see us win games. We want to see us do well in the league. We want to be in the league. We don't want to be relegated. We want to have a decent cup run. We want to try and get into Europe every year or every other year. Now, the great thing about social media is if you don't agree with someone, you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to read their tweets. You can mute them or not listen to them on whatever it is, Twitter Spaces or whatever it is, all that stuff. You don't have to do that. And that's really simple to do. I think people think, you don't have to watch every social media channel out here. There's too many of them. So in the same way that you can pick and choose what you want to listen to, you can pick and choose whose views you agree with. And that's fair enough. That's the idea of social media. There's something for everyone on here. But in the same way, that person who can decide whether they want to listen to this person or this person is more than entitled to think, actually, do you know what? I'm I'm sort of flip-flopping a little bit. And actually, I'm all right at the moment. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. If it is your prerogative, we are human beings and we make rational decisions and we make our own decisions based on what we're being presented with. If you watch that jury on Channel 4, there was people who definitely agreed he is manslaughter and murder. And then there was a massive bit in the middle who then listened to what people were saying, listened to the arguments, listened to the thoughts, and sometimes they changed their mind because little things do play on people's minds in terms of certain things people say or certain actions. I have no doubt that a lot of people who really want him, and football is reactionary. It's knee-jerk reactions. That's what football's all about. It really is. It's a passionate game. You've got a situation when, if someone wants to decide they're flip-flopping, that's their prerogative. And in fact, I think the majority, quite a lot of football fans do that. Yes, you might be really, people might have been really anti-Souček, but the last couple of games, he's been brilliant. Fair play, Tommy Souček. And that is what football is. You are 4 or 5 games away every manager from being sacked, really, in all honesty. If you have 5 or 6 losses in a row, you're out. But in a 38 game season, that's only what was that, an 8th of the season, a 7th of the season. Football is reactionary. Football is passionate. It's emotional. So therefore, emotions do get exaggerated. They change. They can change, and you're allowed to. And that's the nature of football. When football say it's not about the results or stuff, if you've lost and you go in on a Monday, you won't be as happy as if teams won the weekend, regardless of what necessarily the performance. It is about, at the end of the day, you look at the table and it is about success. It is about success. Yes, we want to be entertained. I have no doubt every West Ham fan in the world wants us to win games and be entertaining. We know entertainment is not on Davy Moyes' list. It's not, and it hasn't been for the last 3.5, 4 years. Even during COVID, it was the same type of football. I remember walking out of the London Stadium because there was no one there. I was on my own walking out of London Stadium and literally parking outside the concourse thinking, how did we win that game? And that was 3 years ago. It hasn't changed. I just think sometimes, I just think sometimes we get so, and we pick and choose how we want to represent it. We pick and choose how we want to say things. We pick and choose what stats we want to use. You can prove anything with statistics or anything, you can, either for or against. At the end of the day, we're judged, the club is judged on the Premier League survival on the league table. We're judged whether we're good enough to get into Europe if we finish, say, 7th, which, to be honest, we still could do. We still could do. But the time, I know we've got quite a hard running, but that time, the season's going to be sort of decided for all those clubs. So I think actually, bar the Man City, or Man City might have already tied up the season by the title, or lost the title by the time they play us. Luton might already be down by the time that we play them. Things like that. So actually, when you look at it, I think a lot at the moment it looks really tough. But I think by the time we get there, I think a lot of other teams might necessarily be on the beach a little bit. But we don't know, do we? We generally don't know. But I don't agree when people get called out for change for whether you're on one side of the fence or the other. People just aren't respectful of each other's opinions. They're not. And I don't agree with when you call out people for changing their mind as well. What's the problem with that? What's the problem with changing your mind based on new information that you've been imparted with? The fact is, we've had a good week. We go into another week where we play Freiburg. Freiburg drew two on Friday with Bayern Munich. They came back from where they were 2-1 down. They equalised in 87th minute, I think. Holler scored, equalised for Freiburg, and then we play a Burnley side, who are, obviously down in the doldrums as well. We could have another 2 wins. We could do, and I hope we do, because that's what I want. When we kick off, I want us to win the game. That to me is the primary thing, is to win the game. You play football to win. I want us to win the game. I'd love us to be entertained at the same time, but primarily for me, first, it's about winning the game, because it is. If you're winning the game and you get momentum, and it just breeds more confidence in the side. I was going to do a bit about Vladimir Soufal's comments earlier this week about expectation levels of West Ham fans. And I think he's probably right, to be honest. I think he's generally right. I think sometimes we do have extra expectations potentially. I wouldn't say as high as I think he thinks they are, but I think our expectations are pretty much in line with what we spend. 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That to me is meeting your expectations. We spend that much money, so that vis-a-vis, we should really be aiming for that position. And we know, unless there is a huge downturn in form, there's not going to be a change in the dugout until the summer at the earliest anyway. So what's the point? What's the point in slagging each other off? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. We painting ourselves in a really bad position. We are. I generally think we are really painting ourselves in a bad position. If you're a prospective manager or a first team coach or a prospective player, what are you going to do? Nowadays, you can look at social media, you can search for West Ham on Twitter and get a rough idea of what the fan base is like. I'd run a fucking mile, in all honesty. You see the infighting within the West Ham fan base, and you're thinking, what's the fucking point? I want to hide into nothing already. I just think, we need to get as many points on the board, because regardless of what's happening in the dugout come the end of the season, the higher we are on the bet in the table, the more money we get, the more money we can spend, the better chance we've got to get into Europe potentially as well. That will help us drive recruitment, be able to recruit more higher level players potentially, in terms of giving more of a war chest for Tim Steidten to work on in a big rebuild job. And I think it's a bit sad. I find it really sad because we inherently are just all West Ham fans. That's it. We support the same club. We support, well, whatever badge is, probably that one at the moment. But we do. We're all West Ham fans, and we've all been through various spells of, some of us have been through a few relegations. Some of us have won a lot of stuff in their tenure as a fan. Some of us have been through the bond scheme. Some people have been through the Burnley, Petch invasions, and the marches. We've been through a lot as a fan base. I just think it's that time that is like, just stop. Both sides, points winning, because it means I can't. It feels like I can't enjoy winning because there's always a but. Yes, we won. Great win. But Everton had 22 shots, 11 on target. And it could have been another 6-0, but it wasn't. We've had a few of them this year, but it wasn't this time. Oh, great. Yeah, beat Everton. Yeah, beat Brentford. Brilliant. But they're a shadow of the side they were. This is one of the sides that people were saying, we want to be more like. And we beat them. And we beat Brighton for the first time ever in the Premier League as well this year. And we've beaten the likes of Arsenal. We've beaten some big sides this year. I just don't seem that I can enjoy them anymore. And that's really sad. Because we don't win a lot. We don't win a lot as West Ham fans. So when we do, can't we all just enjoy it? Yes, we can sit in the pub and slag each other, and slag off this selection and why he put Zuma in and why did he put Aged in. But don't call other people out because they're happy. I've been looking at Twitter all Saturday, and I had to just switch it off. Because I was like, do you know what? I felt really, really disappointed. For some people, they were like saying, they was basically saying, "Oh, it's really excited. Oh, well done, Everton did and then literally a barrage of abuse, saying, "Oh, but and it's the same way as if someone says, oh, someone says, oh, it wasn't the best result. We all got result, but and everyone goes, oh, you just Moyes out, you just want us to lose. You probably support, I don't know, Chelsea or something." I just get bored of it. I don't know about you, but I'm bored of it all now. It seems, and I'm just glad that we've got 2 game weeks at the moment because it means we can talk about the game. We don't have to talk about anything else because in reality, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen until the end of the season at the earliest. Anyway, guys, I've got that cathartic experience. I've got that off my chest. Quite a big chest. But as I said, we'll be back with the ratings, and we'll be doing the Academy show, Hammer's headlines, all that stuff as well. Good weekend for the Academy as well. So good weekend all round. Can we enjoy it? Yes, please. Anyway, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe, and I'll be back in a couple of hours' time. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and come on, you bloody irons. Irons, irons, irons.